Hey, welcome to Red State Update. My name's Jackie Bros.
Folks, people, it's Dunlap. Thank you kindly for being here with us. Your presence is a much-needed salve on our pustule-laden skin that is the present day. I like to think of you all as a something soothing and calm that I rub over myself to help get me through the day. Things are bad, Jackie. Things are bad. It's probably not the best way to start off a podcast, but let's just go ahead and say that things are bad.
Yeah.
Black people still getting killed, murdered.
Yep.
Every day we're finding out either happening now, happened a year ago. We're just finding out about it. Elijah McClain played the violin for kiddies. Last August, cops killed him. Then there was a vigil over the weekend in Colorado, and cops broke up this vigil where people were playing the violin with pepper spray.
Yeah.
So every day this is happening, folks. Black lives still matter. We need to not just get back to, we really want to go back to what we think is normal in this country. Look at the whole thing about people wanting to go to the goddamn Dairy Queen and sit there and eat a dilly bar. When you can get a dilly bar in your car and eat it on the way home and only probably like half as much a chance of getting it. But people want to go sit down there in the restaurant and be like, oh, this is normal. This is normal. Look around. It is not normal.
No.
What happened? People are either wearing a mask or throwing crackers at somebody telling them to wear a mask. It's not normal. So maybe when people think, oh, can't we just go back to normal? Didn't we? I saw like a bunch of different corporations. I'm pretty sure like Hellman's. Everybody put out a thing saying Black Lives Matter. So we're back to normal, right? And by normal, I mean a thing that was never really normal to begin with.
Yeah. Normal for me and you is a lot different to what normal for a lot of other Americans are.
You see, I like showing Jackie all these dumb white people showing their ass. And not literally. Well, sometimes I show him those people too, but mostly the people in the stores yelling and screaming.
I ain't ever seen so many people trying to push their way in, mad as hell, throwing stuff around. Why? Those are good groceries, first and foremost. Just because you can't take them don't mean that somebody else won't take them. And I just looked at the one you told me. It showed me a little white woman jerking up everything out of a damn a basket, throwing it on the ground, making a big scene for everybody. Now, what kind of normal is that?
Everybody thinks they're starring in the I'm an Idiot show, but nobody wants to watch that show. Well, they do, but the name of it is Look at This Idiot.
Look at the president. It just trickles down. This is the one thing the GOP, the one thing that they've created that actually trickles down.
You can't, none of these people who feel like they're victims, from the president to the white grocery store grocery throwing lady, actually knows what it's like to be a victim of anything. But they want it so bad. That woman in that store could not drive from her garage to the mailbox as a black person and handle it if she can't handle somebody asking her to wear a mask while she buys her Malamars. You ever had a Malamars?
I don't care for them.
Why you have a strong opinion there.
Well, you asked me if I had one. I just don't.
I'm ready to go. What do you don't like about them?
I just don't like, I like a different kind of a treat. I don't like it. It's just not my particular favorite or anything.
We may not be the most qualified people to discuss Black Lives Matter, but look, if every week you're like, these idiots are really screwing this up, I'm going to go look up some things that are happening in this country and give money to Black Lives Matter and some charities that are working to improve the lives of Black people in this country. And then I will know so much more than Jackie and Dunlap. Maybe that's what we're here for.
Yeah. Well, what little I do know, I wanted to say this. Well, the murders of Breonna Taylor still walking around free. I'm aware of that going on.
I did see, I think their state attorney general got married over the weekend.
Oh, he's too busy getting, okay.
Or had a party or something. I saw people say, look at this here. So the one thing about everything terrible that's happening is it is almost hard to keep up, because we have a podcast where we talk about the terrible things that are happening. And as we're talking about the terrible things that I wrote down I got a big list here of them. We hadn't even scratched the surface of it. And I'm still remembering things that I didn't even have the time to read, to check out. I'm like, well, I guess he got married this weekend and they still letting them. Maybe he was going to get a wedding gift. Maybe he's waiting to see if they get him anything for his wedding before he arrests him. This is opinion. I don't know that for a fact. Yeah. I didn't read this story. I'm just guessing. As long as we're talking about Kentucky, we can also say arrest the cops who murdered Breonna Taylor. And we can also say that that election, I guess tomorrow on Tuesday, y'all might know by the time you hear this, the Democratic election in Kentucky, Amy McGrath versus Charles Booker, it sounds like he may win.
Good.
Or there's going to be months of people accusing Tom Perez and Charles Schumer of rigging the Kentucky election.
Now,
either way,
he come out of nowhere, just came because everybody just said it was a given on McGrath, and I like McGrath. Okay, she's fine. And then this gentleman come out of nowhere and just let him win, take it.
So we'll know more about that tomorrow. Jackie?
Yeah.
And then I guess before, this is like a little appetizer, like a little Ritz cracker with a racist president on it. Trump, over the weekend, I believe, tweeted a video where someone was chanting white power in the video, then he deleted it. This is one of those cases where I almost said, well, at least he deleted it. Like that was better. I don't know when you post a video with somebody chanting white power in it, I don't really know the protocol. I would imagine delete it and apologize. But if you're President Trump, you just you claim ignorance?
Well, it's the same with him. He didn't hear him say it. He didn't see this or whatever. He didn't see no briefing on Russians killing American soldiers, putting a bounty on the head. He didn't, it on and on. He got an excuse for every damn thing. The damn president don't know how to do it. We're in a place where your strategy is to call him out instead of being a racist. He's a damn idiot. I guess between the two, you might want to, go with a damn idiot. But in my experience through life, idiots and bigots, that's the same thing. They go together real well.
They do go together real well. It's the same thing. Like the Klan has been a steady presence in the South. My privilege, my white brain, saw these fucking idiots who look like idiots. Sometimes an idiot like, oh, that guy looks like regular. No, idiot. Start talking to him. Like, shit, I just never should start talking to this idiot.
They're all dumbasses. Yeah, I did.
They're all dumbasses. So you see them, and you're like, well, shit. They can't do nothing. I guess racism's over. Well, just because they're an idiot, and we learned this with Trump in 2016, don't mean they can't get elected president.
They're running the country right now. I never forget the day he got elected, the same day when he put his hand on the Bible, you had how many Nazis out there hail Trump on videotape and everything. It's been the same way till now.
I never had to think about how many people in Germany in the 30s were ironically Nazis until they were doing some serious Nazi shit.
Yep.
Were they still like, haha, look at me? Or were they, oh no, I'm in this now. This is not ironic at all. Or when do you start? How do you tell the difference? Well, I don't know when you can tell the difference. The thing with Trump is he uses the racism and the idiocy, and you're pretty sure he's distracting you with one of them, but you can't tell which. The white power thing, that's a distraction from the corona. Well, maybe the coronavirus is a distraction from the racism. It's hard to say.
And don't forget, both of those are a distraction from, knowing that Russia's paying the Taliban to shoot our soldiers over there, Afghanistan.
I don't even know which impossible to overcome, but yet he probably will. Scandal to start with. Let's start with the Russians. Jackie, let's start with the Russians, as we so often do in the year 2020. Starting with the Russians paying the Taliban about, did anybody say how much they were, this bounty was?
I didn't hear a figure to it, but,
to kill American soldiers. Reports seem to say that soldiers were killed. Talibans were paid their bounty by the Russians from a gigantic stash of American cash, which sounds like Trump, honestly. Just a gaudy amount of cash laying around sounds like something that Trump would do. And now everybody's pretending like it's okay. The best excuse is that he just didn't know.
He didn't know about it. They might have told him, and he forgot it, or just I don't remember any of it. Just the same thing. And dead American soldiers. There's nothing funny about that. But good Lord Almighty,
we can't imagine any other president. Can you even imagine any other president coming anywhere close to this, and then just pretending like it didn't happen all weekend? And then, like, maybe tweeting. What did he tweet? He tweeted, like, Intel just reported to me that they did not find this info credible and therefore did not report it to me or VP. Possibly a fabricated Russia hoax, maybe by the fake news New York Times, wanting to make Republicans look bad, which I guess is what they're going with, at least some of them, is that it's a hoax.
Well, let me tell you what they're going with, or we'll know a little bit better now. As soon as this information got out, we heard Lindsey Graham, I'm going to we got to look into this. Liz Cheney, and good for them for saying this. We got to get to the bottom of it. We're going to get together and figure this out. This ain't nothing funny. We got to do something. Well, let me tell you what they did. All Republicans met in Washington today. Not one Democrat was allowed to go. Now, you say, what's a liberal doing there, on and on. But I'm going to tell you why no Democrats went there, because they got together not to stop Putin from murdering our troops. That wasn't what they discussed. What they sit there and talked about, I bet you anything, is what are we going to say? What's our story on this? The GOP make me sick to my stomach. I'm sick that I ever was a Republican, that we'd come to this to just, I can't say no more. I'm going to get mad as hell. I'm already mad as hell. I'm going to figure out what they say to the press. This is our story. We're going with this. Now, you say this, you say this. Not one of them. I guarantee you, not one of them said, what do we do about Putin? Well, we'll worry about that later. Right now, we got to make sure what we say on to Chuck Todd next weekend. The hell with all of them.
Well, Kayleigh McCaley said today, Trump says it wasn't credible. Kayleigh McCaley says it just wasn't confirmed. There wasn't consensus. There were dissenting opinions, need to be evaluated. And then they says she got a message for Russia. And she said, no, he hadn't been briefed on the matter. Like, still, they're not matching up. He said something, then they all have to go and match it later.
Well, somebody's saying now, there's another source saying out that it was included in the president's daily brief earlier this year. Now, who do you think's leaking all this? And it ain't, I know people say, oh, New York Times, it's just the New York Times. It ain't, they may have broke a story, but there ain't a newspaper in the world outside of Russia that ain't talking about this right now. There must be something to it for every damn newspaper in the damn world to rest their legitimacy on, so that there's something, we know something's doing it. Who do you think's leaking this to the press? Do you think maybe it might be somebody in the military who knows that the president's known about them shooting the men and women serving? And that, do you think maybe that's what they had to do? They've had to do it before. In the Navy, they ain't going to hire him back. He didn't have a choice. His whole crew getting sick. Wouldn't nobody do nothing about it. Leave him in no choice. I got to go to the damn press. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on.
Sometimes I think, well, you know what? Can we even do this podcast? Is it appropriate for us to be funny during this time of protest and reckoning about our nation's history and our present? And well, at least we can talk about Trump. Maybe we can be funny there. But then we start talking about Trump, and you can't be funny there either. I guess we're a serious podcast now. I mean, I guess that would be this topsy-turvy world. I guess we have to consume more information and be a rock for listeners if we're going to be serious. At least if you're trying to be stupid, people will be like, that was funny. That ain't true, is it? Jackie, do you think if it was in his briefing book, does that mean that he actually, I don't know which is worse here. Did he actually know about this and not do anything about it because he didn't want to make Putin mad? Did people not really push it? Like maybe it was in the briefing book, but they didn't push it because, like Pelosi says, they were afraid he would tell Putin?
Yeah.
Or did they not push it because they're like, he's just going to make things worse? Or did they try to push it and his brain can't comprehend things?
I'm going to vote all the above on that. Every one of those. They
said that the Washington Post reporter who was doing his own story after New York Times come out with it first, I believe, said on Morning Joe, was like at the Pentagon, they're knocking the door down, banging on the door. Come on, we got to show y'all this. Maybe if he heard the word bounty, he thought, last time I did paper towels, I got in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no good explanation for this that doesn't make me want to jump into the river.
I want to say something to all these Republicans who are huddled in trying to figure this out. I'm talking about the people in the Senate and the House, and those gentlemen. I know they probably don't listen to this. But if you've been waiting, and I know about 9 or 10 of you are got a steep hill to go with this election coming up. Don't look good for a lot of you. It really don't. Maybe if ever there was a time to get away from this crazy bigot killing people, our soldiers, let alone people, the plague he's letting off. We ain't even talked about that yet. Maybe now's the time. Should have been actually back when you had a chance to get his ass out of there, but look where we're at now. All right. Nothing you do about that. Now's the time Let's see which one of you do it. We'll let how many of them do it? Five of them. Let's say, 5. We got about 5 of them.
First 5 get off a Trump boat. You're still be welcome.
We'll take you. Not
you got to do it pretty fast. You got to. It still doesn't go till like Halloween.
No,
you got to get on there pretty fast.
Tomorrow, right now.
Yeah, like this week.
Yeah, this week. If you ain't off, we'll give 5 of you as much of a pass as possible. Maybe you didn't know about. Probably didn't know that Putin was put a bounty. Some of you should have known, but if you're not doing your job, if you're too busy covering for this, telling people to wear a mask, not wear a mask, blah blah blah, whatever. Too busy trying to make excuses for Bill Barr or breaking the damn law as often as you can. Take a break. Just think about it. Get off there. I'm going to take it back, not 5-4. It's going to be 4 of them, not 5.
It might be 3. What you're not going to know until you come aboard. So come fast, because if you're number 4, we might have drawed the drawbridge up. You might not be able to get on this ship.
If not, the plague, Putin, all of it. Gonna stay. It's already on you. You ain't ever going to get it completely off. You might just get enough of it off to save you hide in the elections coming up. But other than that,
they just while all this, just so that we remember, the president of the United States of America, Donald Trump, your president, Jackie, he said. Didn't he invite the Taliban over? Remember when the Taliban come by?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Right around September 11th, close to it that week.
That's right. I couldn't remember the date.
He wanted the Taliban. Come on over here and let's go to Camp David, y'all. It's really something I can show you around. I'll take out the nuclear football and show it to you like I did down in, Lago, wherever it is. Come on in and look around. Let me show you. Come on over here, Taliban. Let's sit down and talk.
And then this week, the Polish, president and prime minister, his name is Duda, which is from a song that should be in a museum at most. He come over and he said during his election week, met with the president. He's running for re-election on an anti-LGBTQ platform. Very dangerous, harmful to the gay folks who live in Poland. Come over here to meet with Trump about us putting a bunch of soldiers in Poland, which is what Putin wants. During Pride Week, the anti-gay Poland guy come over to meet with Trump. I mean, I'm no Columbo.
Well, he might not have known it was Pride Month, like he didn't know Juneteenth, like he don't see, he don't hear. How's he supposed to know all this?
Basically, I mean, he's just walking into the wall all day. If people get him up and get him dressed and get him in his shoes, like he can't make it out the door. He's just like softly bumping into the wall until somebody nudges him in the direction of an opening that leads to a television.
Speaking of Poland, I think didn't he do for his buddy Putin? I think he just moved all the military bases out of Germany.
Yeah, he just got there. Yeah. That's what they were saying.
That's a new deal. That's a new deal he just did.
That's for Putin, yeah.
And months and months ago, somebody did or did not tell him that they were paying the Taliban to shoot our soldiers.
I mean, at this point, we should have realized that it does not matter whether he was told or not. The outcome is not going to be good. There is an article that just come out from Carl Bernstein on CNN.com. It just talks about how much Trump scares people who work for him when he talks to foreign leaders. And hundreds of highly classified phone calls with foreign heads of state, says this article by Carl Bernstein. No, I don't read you a whole article by Carl Bernstein. I mean, I said we weren't funny anymore, but
yeah,
I mean, let's not take it that far.
Yeah.
President Trump was so consistently unprepared for discussion of serious issues, so often outplayed in his conversations with leaders like Russian President Vladimir Putin and Turkish President Erdogan, and so abusive to leaders of America's allies. Later in the article, it talks about how he called Angela Merkel stupid, Theresa May weak. Women, they were just not good to women.
Yeah,
this all tracks. This all tracks. That the cause helped convince some senior U.S. officials, including his former secretaries of state, defense, 2 national security advisors, and his longest-running chief of staff, that the president himself, this is Carl Bernstein, posed a danger to the national security of the United States, according to the White House officials and intelligence officials intimately familiar with the contents of the conversations, which include McMaster and Bolton and Mattis and Tillerson and Kelly, all these people who thought, all of them. Yeah. I mean, the article is awkward. It's embarrassing and infuriating and terrifying. And a lot of it we know.
100% believable. No, I mean, none of it's surprising. Well, that makes sense. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, all right. Thanks for reminding me to wet my britches.
Here's just one of the highlighted sections. Attacking key ally leaders, especially women. That is such a terrifying, horrible, but just such a peculiar, I mean, sexism, patriarchy, it really explains a lot about him, but just attacking allies in general, attacking women. Sure, we live in America in 2020. I understand. But just whoever is supposed to be our friend, he hates and belittles them. And whoever is our enemy, he thinks he's their pen pal, even though Kim Jong-un ain't even writing the letters, according to sources. That is so weird. I mean, a lot of stuff doesn't, like, I still don't get that. Like, where does that come from?
Let's give President Dumbass, excuse my language, benefit of the doubt. Let's say he didn't hear about this and didn't know anything about Russia, paying a bounty or anything. Let's say he heard about it the first time that the rest of us did. Well, if you're the president and you're just finding this out, what should you do? Well, get to the bottom of it. I'm going to find out what the hell's going on. Who do I need to talk to? Let me do something about this right now. We've got to take care of this. I can't believe he didn't tell me, on and on and on. But no, if I remember correctly, what he did instead was golf. Yep, that's it. That's exactly what he did. Yeah, he golfed all day yesterday.
Well, at some moment in time, he did take a second out to make it all about himself and to formulate a strategy of how can we make this about me, about how everybody's out to get me. So I don't know. That probably didn't take too long, since that's what they always do. So they kind of have a playbook for that.
Yep. Same broken damn record. Pitiful him. But why is there a pick? Why I know over 100,000 Americans are dead. I know everybody gets it. I know Texas is now epicenter, so is Florida. I know that. But good Lord, you go to just blame it on me. Poor, pitiful him.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of options. It's either it's either that the information wasn't complete or was bad intel, and so they kept it from him, which is sort of what he's saying, with a lot more victimization and conspiracy. Or they did tell him and he didn't do nothing because of Putin. Or they showed it to him and his mind wandered and he just got bored.
Well, he knows now, and let me tell you how this ends up. He calls his buddy Putin. Putin tells him, I did no such a thing. And then he hangs up a phone and gets on the Twitter, whatever, and says, Putin, my friend, said he didn't do this. End of story.
But I don't know if this one gonna. I guess the other one is just if somebody says Russia, then he gets real mad. That's the fourth.
Oh, and also everybody likes him. So, here we go with Russia again. Here we go with Russia. There they go. Same old thing. Well, there's a reason it's the same old thing.
It's the same old thing.
It is the same old thing. You're right.
Fox News headline. Here's why this one seems a little different. And today may be different. This was yesterday, I believe. But I did go to the Fox News website, which may be why I'm getting all these pop-up ads with just the word Antifa with the exclamation point and Trump standing in front of the people wearing masks like a terrible production of Les Miserables. But Fox News headline says, Bolton blasts Trump for denying he was briefed. This is Fox News headline. And it does say Bolton, so they probably, people don't, Bolton, Fauci, people that Republicans might have liked for a second at one point.
Not anymore.
Bolton blasts Trump for denying he was briefed on Russia offering bounties to Taliban to kill U.S. troops. Former national security advisor says president's decision-making not connected to reality. But there's no spin on that other than just it's from Bolton. I mean, that's pretty laying it out there for everybody. That's a lot to take in. Just imagine if you're just a pro-Trump Fox News watching, you're sitting there, let me see what's going on in the world. That comes up on your screen. Just Trump not connected to reality. Taliban killing U.S. troops. Like that part, you'd be like, okay, I believe that. Russia offering bounties. Like, well, maybe, but I thought Russia was good. And Trump not doing nothing about it. Maybe okay with it. How do you even process that? I think people's brains are short-circuited, and that's why they can't shop. Maybe that's why all these people can't wear masks, because they like Trump so much, and it's slowly sinking in that he has been killing them, and their brains can't process it. Maybe that when they're out in the store and they know they're supposed to wear a mask, it just triggers them that Trump wasted a shutdown, that the whole country shut down for months. Everybody's broke. Nobody's got no jobs no more. Everybody's one handshake away from the ICU. They put this, and that's they voted for, and they put this mask on. Just the suggestion of it just fries their brain because they can't. They know it's his fault. It's his fault that they're still having to wear a mask. So it's better to throw Cocoa Krispies at somebody than it is to wrestle with your own ineptitude as an American voting citizen. Or maybe they're just assholes. Could just be assholes.
I think you had to be a butthole in order to vote for the man. That's a chicken and an egg sort of thing right there.
I don't think they thought they'd be the ones getting sick and hurt.
Well, no. I mean, hell, most of them still don't think they are. Not in Texas and Florida anymore, but everywhere else.
So, not that I'm raring to get on an airplane and go see the Eiffel Tower, but apparently European Union countries are preparing to ban American travelers when they reopen their borders.
And there's a reason for that, and I won't if there's any Trumpies that still listen to this, I shouldn't call you a butthole, but you were if you voted for him. But
you are currently also.
You are. But just look at the statistics and the graphs of this and just explain to me why you think Trump, Pence, any of them are doing a damn thing. The reason they don't want us over there is because we're going through the roof and they got it, mostly figured out. There's no reason that we couldn't be the same way except for President Dumbass without zero leadership, don't know what to do, sent out tests that they knew didn't work because they didn't want the numbers to stay low. Him and his testing, we all know about that. Throwing rallies in places where it's starting to go up, tearing stickers off a seat so nobody will even consider social distancing, let alone putting on a mask. How come America's the greatest, right? That's what we believe. America, great. Nobody beats America. Right on top. Well, how come we're all sick and everybody else seems like they got a hold of it? Just how do you rationalize that? How's the Trump mind getting behind that? Well, he's doing the best he can. Well, obviously he ain't, because it can be done.
Jackie, I think any true patriot would respond to that with the famous Thomas Jefferson quote, the tree of liberty must occasionally be watered with... Yeah, things are not good. Only 2 U.S. states reported a decline. This was a couple days ago. A rise reported in 36 states, including Florida, which is a new epicenter. Ron DeSantis said the state's surge in cases last week was the result of a test dump. Because that's what the White House likes to say. It's because of all the testing. Yeah. Although that's a joke, except it's not, because he doesn't kid. Nobody knows what the fuck he's talking about. Did he order a slowdown on testing? I mean, they spent...
He was about to. What are you talking about? Did he? He was fixing... They were pulling money out of testing. Now that Florida and Texas are... Now that it's blowing up again, they said, maybe now's not the time to pull back on testing. But it is the time to just get rid of Obamacare. Let's make sure you do that. All these Republicans that are gathered up together trying to figure out how to spin American soldiers getting killed and it not being their fault or the president's fault. They are the ones that told all that people, well, right now you're going to have to get on that Obamacare because can't none of you go to work because there's a pandemic. Republican governor after Republican senator, on and on. Get on Obamacare. That's going to get you through. Well, is it? And I know they ain't going to hear it till October or in November, whatever. But that'll be exciting right around that time. If we're still standing, if there's anybody still alive by then. That don't make a bit of sense. Is he trying to? Is he doing everything he can to get his rear end kicked out of there? I don't understand none of it.
There's a country music singer named Chase Rice who put on a concert this weekend in East Tennessee and posted images of it where nobody was wearing a mask and everybody was just crammed in there right next to each other listening to this generic bro country dickhole. And he's still not even really apologizing for it. And then there was another country singer, another generic bro country dickhole, whose name is, oh man, I'm mad about having to look this up. You know what? He's just another blonde fuck. He's probably got a thing.
All right, watch it.
On Lower Broadway right now where you can go. You don't even have to go to a concert. If it's not, he's in the process of opening one up. Maybe it's in Brentwood. Maybe it's just like a sports pub. People are aching to be assholes. I don't know if this is from Trump. He's not helping it. I mean, he could wear a mask. All he has to do is wear a mask. Jackie, why the fuck will he not wear a mask? What does that prove? What does that do? Is it just the crazy people? Does he think he needs the crazy people?
That's his people. What are you talking about? Those his favorite people. That's who he knows. You know, that's the only thing he's got, and it's the only thing the GOP's got in order to win an election. They can't win without that 30%, 20%, however much lower it's getting as the days go on. The polls ain't looking good for none of them. And I'll be honest, when they showed polls and how blue the country would be if the election was held right now, I'm still like, how the hell did it get that much?
He's literally killing you. He's literally embarrassing you and killing you and insulting you every day that he's in office. It's crazy. It makes no sense to me. There's no bottom to my astonishment. I don't know why. It's been 4 years. Everything, racism, just greed, sexism, everything tracks. It shouldn't be astonishing to me. Maybe this is why, black people are so frustrated with us right now. That I still am like, I can't figure it out. What could it be? Mike Pence, talk about dumbasses. I've never seen such a willing patsy. Now, if you're still in the Trump administration, you either think you're a genius mastermind or you're just a willing patsy. Like Stephen Miller thinks he's a genius mastermind. Mike Pence is just a willing patsy. I mean, he knows the role he's playing right now, just to be a blank-faced goober out there who will be sacrificed at some point in the future when Trump thinks he can do something. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're like, yeah, you know what? In September, we're just going to cut Mike loose and blame it all on him.
Pence went on TV Sunday morning shows, told Chuck, I can't remember which one he told. One of them.
Same thing.
Wear a mask. We got to social distance. We got to do that. Let's get to it. Then after that, in Texas, went to a fundraiser where they had a 100-person choir and 2,000 people in the church. Not a one of them wearing a mask. How many times we heard the story about people getting together for choir? And the Lord knows I love nothing better than to hear some good hymnals. I regret that I didn't go to church as often as I should, because I miss hearing that. But good, you get in the room and you sing, half of you or more are going to get sick. Mike Pence.
Jackie, at this rate, nobody's ever going to go to church again.
Well, they said,
that's what they want you to believe. That's actually what they want you to believe.
But there's statistics saying, and I think they're pretty accurate. I've heard I read it somewhere. This is the lowest in decades that the Southern Baptist Church have got new people coming in. It makes you wonder why, don't it? I don't want to be there had to be some people that said, I didn't know that we were bigots and racist. Some of them did. They knew that what it was. But I mean, why, if I'm looking for some sort of salvation, something for my spirit, something for my soul, I need something. And Lord knows we all do right now. I want to go with these people over here saying all lives matter, and I'm not going to wear a mask, and I'm going to throw stuff in the aisleway at Kroger like a 2-year-old, just like a precious damn 2-year-old. That's where I want to go. That's where I'm going to find the light with these, excuse my language, dumbasses.
There's so many people in positions of authority. The president, Fox News, preachers. Some of these are terrible positions of authority, just very weak authority. Just like where they just pump themselves up and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm on Fox News. But still, it's embarrassing, but it is a position of authority. There's this article, Fox News may have kept millions from taking the coronavirus threat seriously.
You
just
think?
Like Trump, the president, Pence, your preacher, everybody who does not take his shit seriously is partly responsible. I say what you want to about them protests, but the protests are all wearing masks. I know that because in all the art Trump uses and all these pop-up ads I'm getting now, there's always Black Lives Matter protesters wearing masks. Like they're no good to him if they're not in masks.
They're outside too. They ain't inside indoors where everybody gets the same air. I mean, I'm sure I have no doubt some protesters probably got sick, and I hope they didn't. I don't really want anybody to get sick. Because you sit there and you want to go, well, look at these dumbasses in here, pants singing, all of them not wearing a mask. Well, no, it ain't good for them because each one of them could probably take out 2 or 3 nurses or a doctor or somebody else. It's a family. I mean, it ain't, who gives a damn about them, but they're going to wipe out Lord knows how many people. It's a possibility in a way.
Or them people in choir wearing choir robes?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're already dressed like angels, so they're like halfway ready to go.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, being outside wearing a mask is different from being at Old Charlie's with the woman you're cheating on your wife with, sweating onto a shared basket of chicken tenders. So, yeah, we're all going to die.
Well, that's the Florida DeSantos, he said, well, it's all these young people. It ain't, it's just young people going out to the bar. Well, who opened the bars? You did. What do you think was going to happen? That's what I want to ask. Trump, I know, didn't think one way or other about it. The economy's bad. People got to get their rear ends back to work or I am in trouble. End of story. Did not care about whether you breathe another day in your life.
One former senior administration official said, it's more than them being asleep at the wheel. This is from Washington Post. They're confusing people at this point when we need to be united. They are purposely hurting you.
Yeah.
It's not just that they're fucking up. They're doing this on purpose.
I saw McConnell holding a mask out. Everybody knows put one of these on. Well,
he definitely does.
Well,
just because of his face. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just, what are they thinking? What did they think was going to happen? This is what they thought. Let's get the money flowing and we'll lose some people. They were literally asking on Fox News, people from my generation and older to sacrifice themselves so young people go back and get the money rolling so the damn president can win another election.
But that's such a stupid risk. I just don't understand how they thought that was a gamble worth taking, because now, because of that, they're hopefully, fingers crossed, there's at least a good chance that they're going to lose the election because they fucked that up.
Watch your mouth.
If they had not wasted, people are waking up to the fact that they have wasted the last 3 months.
Well,
everybody's money, everybody's the fucking kids running around the goddamn house, the graduation ceremonies, fucking in it, fucking goddamn movies.
Watch your mouth.
What's his name? Christopher Nolan. He's, of all the people who's, listen, you think Trump's mad? You should be at Christopher Nolan's house right now.
Oh, you made that backwards movie, right?
Yep.
That thing go backwards, yeah.
Backwards. Everything go backwards. I love that movie.
Right now, we should go back to 2016. I'd watch that just for nostalgia reasons.
I know a boy works at college, has him editing machines.
Yeah.
He janitor, but he knows he breaks in and taught himself how to use them. And broke a few, but they don't know it was him. He edited everything go backwards, forwards. So now everything just goes regular.
Right.
That's a trip, man. And I think he wanted you to do that. That's how smart Christopher Nolan is. Not about the coronavirus, because that's a dumb fucking, who's ready for the movies? I'm going to blow your mind with this one. 2 weeks later, you're in a goddamn iron lung going, oh, that's what happened. Why the fuck? Who? Everybody needs to calm down.
I won't see no James Bond movie. I like to go see those. I don't see movies very often, but I like to go see those. And I don't guess I'll be dead by the time they put that one out.
Yeah, because it's coming up. I mean, it's our deaths are careening towards us. It's startling speed, thanks to the president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. Doing great. Oh, and then the Secret Service. We didn't even talk about the after Tulsa. There's still after effects of Tulsa. I mean, we talked about the people who tested and had to stay there in Tulsa, but now people who were with them, dozens of Secret Service officers and agents who were on site for President Trump's rally in Tulsa were ordered to self-quarantine after more people tested positive. So some were stuck in Tulsa. Some had to quarantine after they got back from Tulsa. Do not go to Tulsa.
How does anybody expect Trump to take care of you with this? Oh, he's got it under control. He can't keep his own staff, people that work for him, his own administration. I'm amazed that he ain't got it. How is that happening? That don't make a bit of sense.
Do people think he's got it? Are there people who think he's got it under control, or are there just people who think, who see reality, and other people who think it's not that big of a deal, and they're just having trouble figuring out why everybody's still dying? I mean, is there anybody like, oh yeah, Trump he took care of this. He nipped it in the bud.
That's what Mike Pence said the other day.
If you got Pence out there carrying your message, I feel like people have given up on that message in the White House.
Well, don't tell that to Jesus now.
I wouldn't tell that to Jesus. He's busy enough processing the people showing up out there. Oh, can we talk about the Hannity interview?
Do we have to?
I just can't. I mean, I could read this quote, but it doesn't. I mean, also, it's just kind of like what he always says. It's just crazy that Hannity, again, I don't know why this amazes me, that he's on Hannity. Well, this is what Republicans got mad at Hannity because they thought he didn't go easy enough on Trump.
Well, he gave him the biggest softball question you could give anybody. What are you planning on doing for America if you get a second term? And he went, John Bolton's an asshole. I mean, that was his answer. And they're mad at Hannity.
What are your
I thought Grassley's mad about that old man.
Yeah. What are your top priorities for a second term? It wasn't even like just vague. What do you think about doing? I don't know. I'd like to go. I've never been to Australia. You could have said anything. Okay, I'm just going to dive into it. Well, one of the things that would be really great, the word experience is still good. I always say talent is more important than experience. I've always said that. But the word experience is a very important word. It's a very important meaning. I never did this before. I never slept over in Washington. I was in Washington, I think, 17 times. All of a sudden, I'm president of the United States. You know the story. I'm riding down Pennsylvania Avenue with our first lady, and I say, this is great. But I didn't know very many people in Washington. It wasn't my thing. I was from Manhattan, from New York. Now I know everybody, and I have great people in the administration. You make some mistakes. Like, an idiot like Bolton, all he wanted to do is drop bombs on everybody. You don't have to drop bombs on everybody. You don't have to kill people. That's what he said to his most loyal ass kisser.
Well, why didn't Grassley get mad at Trump himself when he said, I think he did this on Hannity too. He said, Joe Biden's going to be president just because he can't talk, and Joe Biden's going to be president. Speaking of that, I do not understand how that flies. By the way, Trump Jr. and all of them. Biden is asleep, he can't talk right. Well, he can't. But look.
Half of Trump,
your whole life listening to that. It is you don't know what people talk like. Even if they talk bad, you wouldn't know the difference. Everything you've heard your entire life is someone not talking right.
Or an animal screaming, an endangered animal screaming.
Oh, yeah, well, the shriek.
Those are the two things you've heard.
Yeah. But, yeah. So Trump himself said it because I guess people don't like it. I ain't got it in front of me like you do over there. He just, people says I don't know how to do my job right. Now, I guess they don't like me because I'm doing my job, and now he's going to be president.
Oh, sad Trump is the best. Shit, I don't know how much more of this we can talk about, Jackie. I mean, we hadn't talked about Flynn. We hadn't talked about the whistleblower. We didn't talk about Gomert banging on the damn. There's no rules about when you can make noise. He was banging on the damn microphone gavel to keep so you wouldn't hear the whistleblowers testifying. Steve Cohen, Tennessee, said, "Can we have Gene Krupa removed?" Which is pretty good, Steve Cohen. I'll give you that.
That is good, yeah.
I mean,
Bill Barr just tearing up, every law we've ever had, just
so he is
ripping
going
the
to
Constitution to shreds.
He is supposed to testify or speak. He has agreed to testify without successfully. He has agreed to testify if he shows up in July 28th.
Put it off for a month. Now imagine how much more can happen between that time now and then. Well, I would have just gone ahead and taken my lumps. Because God knows what the president's going to do or what's going to happen between. Why put it off? Because this is going to get worse. The more you put it off, the worse it's going to get. Right now, sure, you're going to take a tongue lashing for sure. Yeah, but just get it over with. You going to give them another month's worth of stuff to scream at you about? I don't want to give Bill Barr advice, but I'm just saying, I don't stand.
It may be like, that's plenty of time for a heart attack. Zelensky said he was pressured by supervisors to issue lenient sentencing for Roger Stone. Just because he said it was giving Stone a break because he was afraid of the U.S. attorney, acting U.S. attorney was giving Stone a break because he was afraid of the president of the United States. They were ordered to reduce their recommendations. We're told they would be fired. They followed standard sentencing guidelines anyway, and then they were overrode. And John Elias, Barr improperly targeted cannabis suppliers because of his personal dislike for weed. This really bothers me, and I know a lot of terrible things are going on, but I guess Barr hates pot. And I don't know if this is a Trump thing or just a personal thing. Maybe he's like, well, maybe I'll get to prosecute some pot people when I get in there if I'm good for the president also. I mean, Sessions hated pot too, so it's not like Sessions was any better. Is he going to win in Alabama? What's happening with?
I have no idea. I just assumed that he got no love coming from nowhere, but I don't know. If he looks good, the president will jump in again and try to say something.
And then the whole thing with Flynn, I mean, there was this whole article about how Sidney Powell just went to Barr, and Barr just, appointed a U.S. attorney 6 months later to scour the Flynn case with a skeptical eye that could be used to find things to be used to turn them over as helpful to the defense. It's hard to read. Let me tell you something. If you read that Trump quote, you're done for the day. I'm not going to read.
Your mouth don't work anymore. I know.
I'm not going to read any more facts. But just it sucks. There's no law anymore. There's no health anymore. There's no money anymore. I don't know what's next. Dessert? What can they take from us? D.C., the House voted to make D.C. a state. Tom Cotton got mad on behalf of lumberjacks, I guess. He was just being racist. Trump, the Affordable Care Act, we brought that up. Probably won't happen till close to the election. And Facebook, this is good. Maybe this is a little good news we can, instead of talking about the Siberian heat wave, we can talk about Facebook. Everybody advertising on Facebook is leaving. Nobody wants to advertise on Facebook anymore.
Good for them. That's all from. He's a little errand boy himself. He little computer Bill Barr for Trump.
Yeah, he does what he definitely has been taking Trump's calls.
Oh, yeah.
Which I wouldn't wish that on anybody except maybe him, because I think that that two-way conversation is something that they both deserve.
Well, you got two minds right there. One very slow, one I give credit for pretty fast, but neither one of them have any idea what the real world is like and how things are for regular people. Neither one of them have a clue.
No, empathy, I do not think, enters into either brain there.
No.
Very often. Jackie, there is a little more good news we could go out on, too. All the Confederate statues been coming down.
Well, Mississippi, what about that?
Yeah, taking the Confederate flag out of the Mississippi state flag. That I did not think would ever happen. NASA's naming its Washington, D.C. headquarters for Mary W. Jackson, the first black woman engineer at the agency. Yep. They're taking down the racist Teddy Roosevelt statue, taken down. They're talking about trying to figure out, I'm sure this will be a big thing for Trump, but the slave kneeling before Lincoln statue. They're changing Splash Mountain to be about the Princess and the Frog at Disneyland. The Dixie Chicks took Dixie out of their name, and now they are just the Chicks, which still sounds bad when I say it, but at least the Dixie part's not there. What do you think about that, Jackie? Does any of this bother you as a old as Methuselah racist old hillbilly?
I never did like old. I mean, if you went to the park or whatever, Stone River, Battlefield and all, I mean, sure, places like that, not official government. Well, I guess it is. It's park. I guess it is official government. If it's history, whatnot, this battle is here, this battle is there. I don't remember a bunch of big statues everywhere. Now, we got a racist on the square, Murfreesboro City Square, that, excuse my language, dumbasses like to get out and walk around it and protect it from whatever. But no, tear it all down. I don't need all of these things were put up, years after the Civil War anyway. They ain't there for nothing else but intimidating of folks. That's what it's there for. So take it down. I ain't gonna miss any of it. Like you said, put it in the museum. Put it all in the museum.
And then just close that museum down.
Yeah,
more like a warehouse. Let's call it like a warehouse.
I'll let warehouse and put it in a museum. That's old Indiana Jones right there.
I wonder if in the next Indiana Jones he'll be like, "This belongs to the people who it belongs to, not a museum." That's a lot for Harrison Ford to say. Yeah. I just think I don't know why people aren't offended by these statues. Like, you grew up being sold a bill of goods. You were conned your entire life, all through school, all through Gone with the Wind, which seem about an equal amount of time when you're sitting through them. You were made a fool out of that all this was patriotic, that it was good, that it wasn't about slavery, that black people don't care, that it's about history. All this stupid bullshit. You should be backing your pickup truck to the same thing and throwing a rope around it and dragging it down to the goddamn creek yourself.
Watch your mouth.
People, you had to sit there as a kid watching Dukes of Hazzard with your black friend just being like, I guess this is normal, right? Because it's on TV. Everybody seems this is okay. Right? South's going to do it again. Country music. When do we audit country music? I'm not saying all the country music's bad. Maybe If Heaven Ain't a Lot Like Dixie is bad. But Dixieland Delight, maybe it's not bad. Maybe we just take out the Dixieland part of the song. That's I don't remember if we talked about it on here or on the Patreon podcast, but that's the one with Chubby Old Groundhog. So when you get to the part where you're like, Dixieland Delight, just say Chubby Old Groundhog again.
Yeah.
Living in heaven.
You can't
with
say
my chubby old groundhog.
You can't say groundhog enough in a song for me.
It could all be, just change the whole thing to just them saying chubby old groundhog over and over again. Chubby old groundhog. I think we did this whole bit somewhere.
Probably.
But it's a good one. Chubby old groundhog. Chubby old groundhog. Chubby old groundhog.